let's jump back. So you have been at parties where Sidney Cook was with Jimmy Savile and Prince Andrew was there.
My background really is I'm a communications consultant. I've worked with the Queen at Buckingham Palace.
So why did he draw you into his web?
Well, Bill Maloney, from my campaigning days back then, I got introduced to Bill Maloney. And Bill's how can I describe? A Marmite figure. You either love him or you hate him. I love him. I think he's great. I won't say anything bad about him. He has very unorthodox methods. He's very direct. He's really passionate. And do you know what? If you understand his life and what happened to him in care, and I'm not going to talk about that. Bill wants to talk about that. That's for Bill to talk about. We're filming here in my office. Anyone that knows me knows what I do for a living. I have 2 jobs. I'm very, very lucky. I run a leak detection company. We have engineers out on the road who have special technology for going out and finding leaks on things. And the other job that I have is, my background really is I'm a communications consultant. I've worked with the Queen at Buckingham Palace.
Now, treason means something as simple as this: talking bad against the royal family. Well, if we've got any police officers here, I am accusing the Queen Mother of paedophilia, and I am accusing her daughter of covering it up on her island of Jersey. And so, this is a dirty country. This country is filthy because of our Queen and her mother and Mr. Lord Mountbatten, who, when he was killed, had 3 children on his boat with him. That's how high it goes.
Trust me, you do.
Stop. Listen, Andy,
What's that?
when
You go through a turnstile, and it goes to one turn from it. Go through turnstile like this way. Garages are over there with all cars in, you know, Queen's cars.
It's the Royal
garages.
Mews, mate.
And then
the Royal Mews.
and then there's like annexes there where staff live in. You know, like little bedrooms and stuff like that. And there's a great big massive room where they all mix.
The servants' quarters.
Yeah, and that's where the party was.
Right. Who's there? Cameras off. Who's there?
Don't fully know every name.
Give me some. Come on, light me up.
Jimmy Savile, was he there?
He was there, yeah. Savile was there.
Leon Britton.
was there. Maxwell was there.
Robert Maxwell.
Yeah, from him who jumped off boat. Did that Maxwell get me?
Yeah, Robert Maxwell. He was there. And how many kids were there?
Not that many kids. It was like there were about 4 girls and there were about 5 or 6 lads.
How old, Andrew?
About 12.
Did Sidney Cook supply those?
But no, they were supplied from Amsterdam. They were supplied from. There was the cake that we were booked for. We were ordered off the order list because there's an order list, and
So there was a list of you all with your photos, and they could just pick what kids they wanted.
it was standard practice.
So it was like, what was it, like a magazine or?
Bill, GB10.
Yeah, what's that?
GB10, that's the, if you like, the catalogue that's custom seized off Tripper. It was called GP10. It was a list of all boys under the age of 14 that were available for sale.
Listen, girls, if we got a message for David, let me get this shot here. If you got a message for David, what would you say to David? All of it?
Keep going, you're doing fantastic.
And
Keep
you?
going.
Yeah, open people's minds.
Yeah, open the mind, yeah, set us free.
Yeah. And we love him, don't we?
We do.
Yeah. He's not, David, you're not as good looking as me, but you're gorgeous in everything.
Well,
Thanks, girl.
This is my friend Bill.
Hello, mate.
So this is the guy who introduced me to yourself.
Nice to meet you.
Got a good name, Bill. That's my name.
What do you want to do, Bill? I've been waiting for 20 years.
Well, David, I've been since I've been here. I've been talking to some of your supporters, your fans, and really asking them. I've been asking them how they felt when they went in and how they feel when they come out. So when they go in, they're feeling excited and looking forward to it. When they're coming out, they're feeling empowered. Now, you know what I'm interested in, David? I'm interested in the institutional child abuse, really. And as you were saying in your talk, with the satanic rituals and the absolute horrors that are going with it. Now, you are one of the very few, let's say, can I call you celebrities?
Oh, God,
don't
no.
get down with me.
No,
anyway.
no.
But you know what I mean.
Oh, God, no.
But you are speaking up.
Yeah.
And you're speaking up in a very strong way, you know. And it's my intention to put sort of your word across as you are talking about child abuse, especially the institutional, the satanic, etc.,
Right.
etc., to victims and survivors. But what I do want to talk about that came out is David Icke. Now, Andrew, you told me that you had sex with David Icke.
Yeah.
Where did you have sex with David Icke?
We picked him up from we picked him.
You picked
I was
him
picked
up,
up from Amsterdam with film equipment
right? On a boat.
on a boat, the big massive.
Whose boat was that, Chris?
Charles Napier of Azimuth Trust.
And the Azimuth Trust is, or
It
was?
It offered children in care boating holidays. It particularly specialised in very young disabled children.
Okay, now you was on a boat. You was picked up at Amsterdam.
Amsterdam with film crew and a couple of there was 3 of us were me, and I went with the film crew. I was carrying the stuff and.
Okay,
stuff
this was
like that.
making pornographic movies,
Yeah.
child
They
pornography.
picked them to set off in England. We couldn't. They want. You couldn't go.
So you
It
went
looked
to
innocent
the Isle of
when they
Wight.
went from England. It's innocent. Then they picked the camera people up from. They picked the camera people up first. Went off to Amsterdam to get supplies and stuff and pick up.
And then you went to the Isle of Wight to pick up David Icke. And he got on that boat.
And he was on that boat 100%.
And there were disabled children on that boat going on holiday with Napier and his trust.
Yeah.
This is where they hold them. I think after what's happened here, they're going to have a little because they're in an area that's a big
Hello, David.
a big a concentration of
David,
yeah, absolutely.
I just want to do one thing and then I'm going to go. What I'm advocating, what I'm here for, David, I've done interviews with you before, I know you're a good man, but paedophilia is dominating world politics via blackmail. That's not, I just wanted to say that. So
Alright.
you got that? I'm talking to the man, alright?
Thanks, mate.
You take it over there, love you.
Cheers. You too.
How are you?
Oh, that's good.
Good.
We talked about the future, whether this can carry on.
Yeah, so I mean, if they go and hold it in the middle of nowhere next time, well, there's nothing we're getting there, are they? We can't get there. But
Okay.
It's a big, massive, beautiful old wooden cruise boat with great big masts and.
Okay.
And then we went to the Channel Islands. We went around the island of Sark and just spent a couple of days around there.
Yeah, let's stick on David Icke, okay? Where on that boat did you have sex with David Icke?
But it is because if we don't draw a line in the sand now, then it will be your child eventually. It will be you. What did they say? What did that pastor say? After Nazi Germany. First they came for the Jews and I was not a Jew, so I did nothing. Then they came for the communists and I was not a communist, so I did nothing. Then they came for the trade unionists, I was not a trade unionist and I did nothing. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak out for me. That is the road we're walking down. Anyone's injustice is our injustice. That's the only way to bring an end to this. It's time to stand up. Stand up. Enough. time to fly and have none of this crap any longer. We get it because we take it. Thank you very much.
That's good, David. You've done well there, You've done well there. Right. So now David has just given what I would call a very comprehensive and rousing speech to victims and to people that are, you know, a girl said today, I think it was the girl who was up there, what's her name, David? Minty. She said, I want to see fighters here today, and that's what I was after, David. I wanted to see fighters, and that's what we love about you, David, because you're a fighter and you don't stop, and it comes out passionately when you talk, and it comes out passionately within your work, and that is it. So we're looking to you, David, as well. Some people look to me and then I look to you. Everyone's got to have to look up to someone, and I thought that was a wonderful speech that you've done, David. So what else? I mean, you know, when you're up there sometimes you think it goes, doesn't it? You think, I wish I'd said this, I wish I'd done that. What do you wish you'd said if you'd have had more time?
Well, I can't think of anything now. What I would have done would have been more comprehensive about it, because
down in one of the cabins, down in the big, like the cabin place where everybody goes and stuff, like it's table in it and they eat in it, and it's a cabin and you can eat in it, and it's a cabin, it's like a table with chairs around, and
it's an old-fashioned sailing ship. You know?
Okay, an old-fashioned sailing ship. Now, so how many occasions did you have? Did David Icke penetrate you with his penis?
It was there all 3 days, and yeah, I got buggered by him, yeah.
How many times did David Icke bugger you on that trip?
He only did me once, but he did younger lads.
Younger lads? Any disabled kids?
There was only disabled kids there.
So he was having sex, he had sex with you?
I was probably the oldest kid.
And how old was you then?
I was under 16.
Right.
Yeah, we're under 16.
It would have been about 14.
About 14. Mm-hmm. So David Icke's had sex, he buggered you there, right? And then bearing in mind, you were really the equivalent to a rent boy.
Come forward. Come forward. Victims, come forward. To be or not to be? That is the question.
Because
I never see myself as a rent boy.
No.
I think I wasn't given money to be there. I was given money to help with the filming.
Right.
Because I was living in a bit of Amsterdam on and off through trafficking and stuff like that.
You know, when we was talking about these children that were on the boat, the disabled children, you said to me that most of them were Down syndrome.
About half of them were Down syndrome.
Half of them were Down syndrome. Did David Icke have sex with the disabled children?
The Down syndrome child he did, yeah.
Was it a boy or a girl?
Boy.
It was a boy.
One with his boys, he didn't touch the girls.
Okay. David Icke.
But then he hires a new PR guy, a Mr. Stein, I don't know how it's pronounced, this is Andrew's new PR guy now. And all of a sudden in the news is this massive story about Carl Beach getting, I think it was 18 years for making false allegations about elite paedophilic activity and child sex abuse. Now, I don't know if it was in one of your videos, I saw in someone's video, but apparently a politician, I think it was McAlpine, he wrote a book, and in his book he said that when there are mass claims of abuse against you, create a false abuser, blow it up in the news, and all the other victims will lose credibility. So what are your thoughts on Prince Andrew, Carl Beach, and this new PR guy that Andrew has hired?
Well,
I didn't meet Darren, but I'm on my way to see another man who's been talking to XRO and says he suffered abuse over many years. We're calling him David.
I became just nothing. I became abused. I became just cheap. Cheap. Sex is cheap, like just slagging me off, just like selling me to the highest bidder. I was more vulnerable then than I was today because I couldn't read properly or write.
David started making claims about VIP paedophile abuse in 1990. He'd met Chris Fay at a support group, and he says he was encouraged to name names.
I don't know how Chris got me into saying names. It was done over a period of weeks, you know. It was like done as a joke, suggestion to start with, but that suggestion became reality.
David told me he described a distinctive birthmark on one of his abusers.
I scribed a birthmark and a first name and scribed the person, and they said the surname and everything, and says that can only be him. Why should I doubt them?
The man who ended up being named was Leon Britton.
I believed it because I believed that. I don't know. Just believed it. I couldn't say why I believed it. I believed it at the time.
It was 25 years since David had had those conversations. He'd been trying to put his past behind him.
I was doing okay, you know. I weren't doing brilliant, but I was doing okay. And then I was starting to build my life back with my family and everything, and it took years and years and years to do that.
Then 2 years ago, according to David, Chris Fay got back in touch.
The people that you were told, one of the people you told to the police was Leon Britton, that's the name of the case.
Yeah.
He'd been abusing at parties in London. And there were other senior MPs as well.
There's an MP called. There's a Civil Phil Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
Raymond runs a few pubs for him, but who I lived with and everything, and we've done a few pubs for him, like.
Yes, getting back, I want to get back to Leon Britton because I know from what the information Settle came to me for, there's one surefire way of identifying Leon Britton above anything else. Do you want to tell James what that is?
His birthmark.
His birthmark. And where was his birthmark?
On his I don't want to stand up because I'm out of shot.
No, just
sort of on the thigh, just
on the thigh.
VIP abuse was in the news again.
He was phoning up every single day. He was phoning up virtually every day, phoning me up like he's talking like he's your best friend, and do everything through me, Chris said. Do everything through me because you can trust me from 1990.
David says Chris Fay wanted him to meet journalists from Exero. They were interested in Dolphin Square, a place he'd first mentioned 2 decades ago.
As our next question, if Simona can come down with the mic, just down the front here, the mic is coming towards you. If you just put your hand up again so that Simona knows where to go.
Can I just say that Paul's answered exactly what I was going to ask the panel about, so I withdraw.
Oh, fine. Okay, who has this chap here, just by you?
Ian Puddick. The police hold a very special place in society. The police claim in their mantra that the public are the police and the police are the public, and they are all one, but they're not. They hold a place in society that's unique because they swear a unique oath that you and I, journalists, don't swear to uphold. So where are the police in this?
A decade after her murder and 2 years after her killer was convicted, details of the Millie Dowler investigation are again being replayed at the Old Bailey. While she was still missing, Stuart Kuttner, the News of the World's then managing editor, had contacted Surrey police saying they thought they'd uncovered a new lead having accessed Millie's voicemails. One message said, "We're ringing because we've got some interviews starting. Can you call me back?" The police told them that a hoaxer had been hampering their investigation, but the paper quoted the voicemail message verbatim in a story on page 9. But after further conversations between reporters and the police, the story was relegated to page 30 of the second edition, and greater emphasis was placed on the hoax aspect. As it turned out, it wasn't a hoax. It was a genuine, though mistaken, call from a recruitment agency in Telford. A member of staff there had accidentally called Millie's number because it was similar to one of their clients. But prompted by the newspaper's admission, the police then decided to access Millie's voicemail.
So, I don't know when it was, about a year or so ago, people started saying to me, this guy called Brian Harvey's making videos about you.
Rightly so.
And I watched the videos, and this guy just ranting about me.
Yeah.
Effing Sean Atwood, effing John Wedge, effing Ian Puddick, effing... Who's the other guy he's got it in for?
Loads. There's loads. Yeah, Sean, yourself.
Bill something.
Bill Maloney.
Bill Maloney.
Bill Maloney.
Effing Bill Maloney this, effing... Then he started saying that I was working for the New World Order.
Which is true.
That's what acting is. Acting is lying. Acting is making an audience believe that what they're seeing is really happening. That what they're seeing is really happening. So you're deceiving them. Really happening. So you're deceiving them. So if we can continue to deceive you, and you enjoy it, we're liars. We're liars.
And so I thought, all right, who's this guy? I'm going to Google him. I saw that he was in a famous band.
Yeah, huge.
E17?
Yeah, massive.
and he'd run over himself or something.
Yeah, I believe so.
It looks really sad. I thought, having lived with people who suffered, seeing the suffering of people with addiction issues and mental health issues, I thought this is really sad.
It's very sad. Because he's talented. He's really talented.
Yeah.
He's very talented.
But why the hell is he...
If he put his energy into... And I had a conversation with him back in, I think it was end of January this year, or beginning of February. I had a conversation with him because he accuses me of all sorts of nonsense. I said to him that, I believe, because he makes videos about him being hacked by News of the World, and from what he shows, I think he probably was.
Having worked in the police and in covert policing and on sensitive inquiries, I worked in buildings that people didn't even know there was anything to do with the police, I would go in there like this. They were just in industrial estates, and they were fully functioning, investigating depots. No one had any clue. The cars were registered to building companies or plumbing companies or all sorts of things, so if anyone got the number plate, so it's clever.
Hello, today I'm here with our first citizen activist exposing police corruption, and no friend of Brian Harvey. His name is Ian Puddick.
Brian who?
Simon Cowell.
Yes.
Max Bygraves.
Yes.
David Frost.
No.
Alan Wicker.
Yes.
Richard Mallett.
Yes.
Ted Heath.
Yes.
Confirmed.
Okay. Yes means Andrew had sex with them.
Oh, yeah, that was...
And he was probably young then.
No.
Fucking wrong ones, man.
Fucking, the sweat down there, it was awful.
Bet it fucking smelled like bins.
I was sick. I've been drinking anyway while I was sick over a fanny.
Alright, was ya?
You were actually sick on a fanny?
Yeah, well, I've been drinking a lot, do you know?
But was you actually like, look?
Yeah. Do you know I can drink all night?
Would she remember you from
Would she remember that? Would she?
It's probably why she said she don't
Then
know
again,
me.
she's probably had it a few times if it fucking stunk down there. Fucking dirty K, got more man than everyone else. I fucking ever wash you. Hello.
Right.
Who's that, David?
Yeah.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm alright.
What do you think?
What about it, mate? I mean, this Andrew guy, he's the guy they call David, is he?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Extara's talking about him, aren't they?
Sorry?
Extara's talking about him.
Yeah, I've spoken to Exaro. I had Tim Wood round here the other day for 6 hours. And it seems to me like... I don't know, I think it's all orchestrated myself, but Andrew is being discredited on purpose. I was given false information so that I'd go running out there with it because Bill thought I was a loose cannon.
Right.
And clearly there's some truth to what Andrew's saying, but I think that is more around the Sydney Cook stuff because Fernbridge have done over 50 hours with him. DCI Paul Settle did go to Chris Fay. Fernbridge did go to Andrew first. He quotes on the Express interview, they came to him on his birthday, and that was sometime in 2012 or 2013, I think. May 2013 they went to him. So, and they didn't want him to talk about between the ages of 8 and 21, only from there onwards. And I would believe the stuff that he said to the Express interview. I've got the whole interview on tape. Now, either the Express were in on setting me up, or they would have had to have gone away and done checks with Fernbridge before they would have printed anything anyway. Even though Andrew, in the Express interview, they haven't named names, but I've got the names on tape that they did name, but they haven't named them for legal reasons. So therefore, the story really is either a wind-up, and it's been pointless because there's been no names named. But then we stayed down in Hull after that interview, and we was going to do the edit there that night in a cabin, and Andrew came back with us, which I weren't really happy about. And there was me, Bill, Chris Fay, and my friend Mick, and me and Mick literally were just doing the filming. Didn't want to go to Hull in the first place. So we're there in the cabin that evening, and we was going to do the edit. Bill and Chris went to bed sort of a couple of hours into it and left us with Andrew, which I think was the plant for Andrew to then start talking about my ex-manager, a guy called Tom Watkins, who he claims has abused one of my ex-band members. So I'm sitting there shocked out my head, thinking, what are you telling me, Andrew? And he goes on to talk about loads of other different various stuff. We go back over the Sidney Cook stuff. And then the next morning, Bill is supposed to be filming his interview with Andrew, and Chris Fay from NAPIC sitting in the interview, confirming some of the stuff that Andrew is saying, because other victims had gone to Chris Fay in the past, in the 90s and in the 80s, and gone to NAPIC, and Chris Fay was there to confirm that other people had come forward and said these names as well.
Right.
So that interview, the one for Pie and Mash, right on the end of it, Bill then turns to the camera and says, and there's one more thing I want to talk about, and it's David Icke. Now, Bill knows that I used to sort of watch your videos and listen to the stuff that I've been following for a while.
Right.
And
Mate, what time are we talking about?
what? How long ago? How long have I been looking at your videos?
How long when Maloney said that?
Oh, this was in January 2014.
Right.
Right, and this was the next day after the interview. So the interview went out on the Sunday, which I think was the 12th of January or something, 2014. So this would have been 2 days before.
Okay.
Like 10th or 11th. And the end bit, I mean, I can play, if you listen, you'll hear the audio.
What I do want to talk about that came out is David Icke. Now, Andrew, you told me that you had sex with David Icke.
Yeah.
Where did you have sex with David Icke?
We picked him up we picked him. Picked up from Amsterdam with film equipment.
Right. On a boat?
On a boat, the big massive...
Whose boat was that, Chris?
Charles Napier of Azimuth Trust.
And the Azimuth Trust is?
It offered children in care boating holidays. It particularly specialised in very young disabled children.
Okay, now you was on a boat. You was picked up at Amsterdam.
Amsterdam with film crew and a couple of there was 3 of us were me, and I went with the film crew. I was carrying the stuff and.
Okay,
and stuff
this was
like
making pornographic movies,
yeah.
child pornography.
They picked them to set off in England. We couldn't. They want. You couldn't go.
So you went to the Isle of Wight.
They went from England to Innocent. Then they picked the camera people up first. Went over to Amsterdam to get supplies and stuff and pick up.
And then you went to the Isle of Wight to pick up David Icke. And he got on that boat.
And he was on that boat 100%.
And there were disabled children on that boat.
I know, mate. Right? So what he says is that... I know, right? He says he gets picked up from Amsterdam with filming equipment on Charles Napier's boat with the Azimuth Trust. They come over to the Isle of Wight and pick you up. You get on the boat, and then on the boat there's disabled kids and stuff, and you're having sex with one of the disabled kids, and also you supposedly have sex with Andrew in one of the cabins, right? Right. So that's what he's saying about you. Then.
Has he said this publicly?
No, he hasn't said it publicly, and Bill hasn't published this interview.
Well, we'll be straight into court if he did.
Yeah, well, it ain't going to happen anyway, because personally, I think I'm there filming, and this was for me to put out, I think, David.
Yeah, I tell you what, mate, that is so ridiculous.
I know, mate, I know. Don't worry, I've got you back.
I'm not, that was the last thing I am.
I've got another video, right, which Bill has given to me, where Andrew is in Bill's flat. Now, Andrew's changed his story. You haven't had sex with him on the boat now, right? Apparently now you're a hypnotist, and you've hypnotised the kids, and you've made the kids have sex with Andrew.
Right. Well, this is the thing, that this is so ludicrous, and the story is so implausible, that either Maloney has done this on purpose, or he's a complete frickin' moron. Only one of those two things can be true. This is extraordinary. What do you know about Maloney?
Well, Bill, all I know is the way that I meet Bill is, you know what I mean, I've had a lot of spare time on my hands, David, as you know what I mean. I haven't been in a band for many, many years.
Okay.
I got ridiculed back in the day, a bit like you did with the Ecstasy comment and John Major getting involved and all the rest of it. Since then, my life's just been shit. And, you know, I'm up late at night, been looking at a lot of videos, your videos. I've kind of gone around the whole block, you know, 9/11, fucking every conspiracy that there is. And one night I'm looking at Sun, Sea and Satan, Bill's thing in Jersey.
Yeah, which was very poor, actually.
Oh, it was crap. It's just a bloke out there with a fucking camcorder having a rant and a scream up, and nothing really happens in it, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I know, it was awful.
So I watched it, but back then, you know, it was new to me. So I'm having a look at it, and then I went round the corner shop, but some time after that, and I bumped into one of my old neighbours from when I lived further down in Walthamstow. Her name was Beverly. And I didn't recognise her at first, and then once I did, we got into the reason as to why she moved. And she goes, oh, I moved because of that thing that was living next door to you. I said, what, you talking about that strange gay geezer that lived next door to me called Rick? And she said, yeah, I don't know if his name was Rick, but he was something to do with the killing of that Jason Swift. So when I got back, I Googled it, and this guy, whoever it was that was living next door to me, was something to do with Sidney Cook's gang.
Right.
So after I've watched a few more of Bill's videos, I looked on his YouTube and I see one of him crying, bawling his eyes out.
Right.
And at the time, I fell for it. I thought, fucking, why is no one helping this geezer? He seems like up front, he's in their face, like saying it how it should be said to these people, I believe. And so I thought, right, fuck it, I'm going to contact this geezer. So I send him an email. Well, I see him on Twitter. And he comes back and he says, email's in the description, email me and I'll give you the number. I get the number, I start talking to him. And it's about a week later when I first go to meet him. Now he sends one of his police friends, who I am being told his name is DCI John Wedger.
Right, you guys demanded back our most controversial ex-cop. Are you enjoying the song that Brian Harvey's done about us?
Brilliant, I'm touched.
Effing John Wedger, effing Sean Atwood, effing Bill Maloney, effing Ian Puddock. They all work for the New World Order.
Personally, I think this geezer is this Nathan bloke out of Fernbridge. That's what I think now. So this John Wedger picks me up, drives me up to Parliament. I meet Bill in the back of another car, and then we go round to Parliament to meet Ben Fellows, who's just finishing his walk for corruption, right?
Right.
So Ben Fellows is there. He does a little piece to camera, like I'm there, and like yeah, I'm here, and you know, if Ben does the lie detector test, we're going to go in and see, you know, what's going on about this Kenneth Clark allegation.
Right.
And I think I was supposed to be there, just naively going, yeah, the geezer's a paedophile, you know what I mean? And then I would have been in the court with Ben Fellows perverting the course of justice.
Tell me this, Brian. What the hell is Maloney's connection to the police then?
Well, this is what
With the police, except that, you know, passing on what he claims to know.
But the obvious question to me is, if Andrew was Operation Fernbridge's chief witness, who the fuck is Bill Maloney, man about town with a camcorder, getting to interview him? This is what I can't understand.
If Andrew is their chief witness, then they're in trouble. I mean, I didn't realise that the Andrew interview you sent me was the guy who was saying this about me.
Yeah.
But when I watched it, you know, the Daily Express version you sent me.
Yeah.
I saw a broken man.
Yeah.
A very weak man now, because they break your backbone and your spirit.
Yeah, they've broke him all right.
But even, and I've met people like that many, many times, broken people all over the world.
Yeah.
But he also struck me as being extremely suggestible. And you know, what happens with a lot of these people is they get so abused, they get so tortured,
Yeah.
so in fear of anything that smacks of authority,
Yeah.
and they get used to telling the abuser what they want to hear, just to try to, you know.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, well, telling the abuser what they want to hear, just so that they, you know, obviously in their mind they're thinking, well, I might not get hurt so much.
Yeah.
And once that suggestibility is there, that desire to please, then basically, you, as a witness, you're gone.
Yeah.
Unless the questions are phrased in a very neutral way, then, you know, you're almost going to agree to anything.
Simon Cowell.
Yes.
Max Bygraves.
Yes.
David Frost.
No.
Alan Wicker.
Yes.
Richard Mallett.
Yes.
Prince Andrew can hire all the PR people he likes, and they can be very efficient in manipulating the information that comes out, what people will print and what they won't. But what these PR people can't do now is persuade the great majority of the British public, indeed the wider world public, that Prince Andrew is anything but guilty as hell of being involved with this this professional paedophile and procurer of children, or the rich and famous, Jeffrey Epstein. The evidence is absolutely already, what's in the public arena is overwhelming. Now,
Just jump back. So you have been at parties where Sidney Cook was with Jimmy Savile and Prince Andrew was there. Was Jimmy Savile there?
Savile were there, yeah.
Right. What about Prince Andrew?
You make me
Go on, you go.
Hang on.
Right, Dean.
Well, Andy, you're doing well, bruv. Trust me, you're doing
stop.
well. Listen, Andy, what's that? When
You go through a turnstile, then and it goes to one turn from go through turnstile like this, where garages are over there with all cars in, you know, Queen's cars.
That's the Royal
garages.
Mews, mate.
And then
the Royal Mews.
And then there's like annexes there where staff live in. You know, like little bedrooms and stuff like that. And there's a great big massive room where they all mix.
The servants' quarters.
Yeah, and that's where the party was.
Right. Who was there? Cameras off. Who was there?
Don't fully know every name.
Give me some. Come on, light me up.
Jimmy Savile, was he there? He was always there.
He was there, yeah. Savile was there.
Leon Britton.
Leon Britton was there. Maxwell was there.
Robert Maxwell?
Yeah, from him who jumped off boat. Did that Maxwell?
Yeah, Robert Maxwell. He was there.
Mm.
And how many kids were there?
Not that many kids. It were like they were only about. There were about 4 girls and there were about 5 or 6 lads.
How old, Andrew?
About I was about 12.
Did Sydney Cook supply
12,
those?
13. But no, they were supplied through Amsterdam. They were supplied from. There was the cake that we were booked for. We were ordered off the order list because there's an order list, and
so there was a list of you all with your photos, and they could just pick what kids they wanted.
Oh, it was standard practice.
So it was like, what was it, like a magazine or?
Bill, GB10.
Yeah, what's that?
GB10. That's the, if you like, the catalogue that's custom seized off Tripper. It was called GB10. It was a list of all boys under the age of 14 that were available for sale.
Do you know what? I've got to go outside for a minute, man. I can't be fucking. This is a lot to hear, mate. I've just got to go and get a bit of air for a minute.
It's true.
It was me and you, bro. You know that, didn't you?
Have you got any fags?
I don't smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm going to have a fag.
Let's have a fag, man.
Come on, again.
Yeah.
Is that alright, Andy?
Let me make sure the cameras are powered off. I'm not.
When you talk about that, it's
I don't waste my fucking battery. And these, Mick, just literally trying to move it.
Yeah, hang on, Andy. All we want is something for the fucking Express today. I'll do my interview with you. Just give him something.
Andrew, he needs you to confirm what I've told him.
Bill,
that the security
don't move that.
leave it on there. If you do that, that's all he wants.
Oh, fucking leave that there. Leave that as well.
But if the place is bugged, then I've got to.
I get it in the neck, not you, because I said it, not you. You confirmed what I said.
We will all need to get for that, was it?
Remember? He said that was all right.
Let's go and have a fag, bro.
He said that it was all right. You
Chris,
can
can we
confirm
leave you
it.
two
If I said
while we have a cigarette? Leave you
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, from where you are is good.
He said it was all right for you to confirm it if somebody else said it.
Yeah, but I've got to say no first time.
Well, you said no.
Do you want to sit down?
No, I'm all right. I'll stand up.
Yes, I've got to say no first time.
Well, you said no. Now, I've mentioned the name. I brought up the security service. I'm the one that's told James that. All you need to do is confirm it.
You know, they just blame me for fucking up.
They can't.
That one's all right. It's going. If you sit there and if you do talk to him, make sure you see him. So I've got the shot lined up. It's in the same place, isn't it?
Yeah. That's
All right,
okay.
yeah,
That's fine,
have a
mate.
quick fag, mate, and a bit of air.
So that's what I'm saying to you. You're doing what you've been told to do. You're not offering the information.
Well, I've just fucked the operation up, haven't I?
No. What operation?
Well, there must be something going on. They've got all this trouble of bugging me.
That's MI5. That's nothing to do with the police. You know, Fernbridge, the only operation they've got established looking at this is Fernbridge. Fernbridge's brief was the own guest house. Sydney Cook is done and dusted because that's what they set up Operation Orchid for. And that was over 20 years ago, so what operation? You're not fucking anything up, mate. Honestly, you're not. You're doing as you've been told to do. I'm mentioning the names. They said it was all right, you could confirm it. That's all you have to do.
I don't want to upset anybody.
You're not upsetting anybody. No, you're not, mate. But it's all right. I'll take the flak. That's why I kept butting in. I've told him, the security service, all you've done is confirm it, and that's what they said you could do. Yeah?
I don't know if I've already done that though, have I?
All you need to tell him is yes, the security services were present at a couple of interviews you did.
Well, there was present security services. They were there when some parties they were.
Right, but then James, all James needs to hear is you to confirm what I've told him, that the security services were present at a couple of interviews at least that Fernbridge did with you. Yes or no?
Yeah, but
yes.
But I didn't know they never put themselves as
No, of course not.
If there's 4 of them and it's normally 2 of them, yeah.
Yeah, they never do. Settle and
they dress differently.
What Settle told you when he said he couldn't confirm that, didn't he? But he did confirm they were not his officers.
Yeah.
Right.
So this was in London when
the interviews down there. And so yeah, but I've been to London, yeah, but.
So the office there were let's confirm there were special branch / MI5 officers sitting in on interviews.
Quite a lot of interviews, yeah.
Quite a lot of interviews.
At different times, but.
And you didn't know who they were to begin with. It was only asked Paul Settle, the
No, because Pom Settle didn't actually.
He didn't know who they were.
No, he knows who they are, but he wouldn't tell me. He just said he's they just want some of our lads.
Some of
our lads from upstairs.
Okay.
That's how it. But I never put two and two together.
But he did tell you that the other two that you were concerned about were Dutch. Special branch.
Well, they're special branch from, yeah, I did TikTok with special branch from Dutch, from Amsterdam.
And that angle was because there was people, young kids like yourself, trafficked out from London to Amsterdam.
But there's, you've got to understand it's not a one-way thing. We had Dutch kids and other stuff come over here and they was investigating on this being
so
Dutch kids.
Both ways.
So it was a two-way thing. And they wanted to find out if I could get them to speak.
And also kids from Eastern Europe too, being trafficked via Berlin. Yeah.
They just wanted me to speak to see if I could try to get out of him because he wouldn't speak to him. He wouldn't speak to him, but he says when he says my name, he wanted to speak to me. But actually, it wasn't like you think. All it was like this. And there was nobody in that room apart from a screw guard, and he was in and out of that room.
So this was Roger Cook, yeah? I had Roger Cook, Sydney Cook.
Yeah.
Okay. And this was
and there was Snopes there because the Nathan and the other guy weren't even around. They went off for a couple of hours to do other stuff. Well, took place so.
And the reason why they were there, and the reason why they were involved, MI5 Special Branch, Dutch Special Branch, was because of the sensitivity of the names that you were telling the police.
Names, they've gone more daft. They've gone dafter since they got. I was fine when they got the documents from NAPEC.
Yeah.
I was fine up to then. But everything was recorded when I was working with Jill Priestley in the papers. Because Maxwell had everything recorded to protect himself. The police have got copies of all those recordings now from the paper.
From Eve Pollard.
Yeah,
Priestley's vanished, so it has
it's gone from Will Pollard, they must have got them from Will Pollard. But they said they've got the tapes and stuff now, a load of stuff now, and stuff. And as soon as they got those tapes, because I was making phone calls to selected MPs, I was making of the day, I was making phone calls to, and I had all the numbers, I had the diaries, I had everything. And when I came to NAPEC, I had a box like that, I'm not joking, a little box about that high, only like that. And it had everything, because Chris came down, because they sent a lad down, then Chris came down, so the lad says, I don't know what to bring. He says to Chris, I don't know what to get. Chris, and as soon as he explained the things to Chris, says, I'm on my way down. Chris got in his car and he came down that evening and everything. And Chris went and talked to. Chris went to talk.
What we'll do, Andy, is what we want to do is because I want to try and sort of just slow things down a little bit and take things clearly and concisely. And if you want, you don't have to. You can just say yes or no, just so I know. Okay. Now, Operation Fernbridge approached you on your birthday last May.
Yeah. That's when I first came to them.
That was when it first came to you. You didn't go to them; they came to you.
I never went to them.
They followed a series of interviews with Fernbridge that happened over a series of months, usually in Bridlington. In a police house, which the police used.
There's only a couple of times I've been out of Bridlington, really.
Okay. Those few times that you've been out of Bridlington were in London.
Yeah, and London, yeah.
London and the Isle of Wight.
And the Isle of Wight. And then when you were in London and the Isle of Wight, there were two officers there that you didn't recognise, and you asked who they were later on, and what you were told were that they were from upstairs.
Just upstairs,
yeah.
I don't know what they mean, just from upstairs.
And you were later told that there were spooks, there were spies, or there were intelligence.
I overheard things because he was talking in the room and that, and I says, no, they're from upstairs, but upstairs are secret services.
All right.
And he said when we're having a dinner.
Right.
You know, like when they stop the interviews and you go for your lunch and stuff. And they sort of. It just one of those times when we were talking and they told me, but they didn't openly tell me on phones or didn't openly tell me, so.
No. Okay. And the reason why the security services were involved, it was because of the sensitivity of the names that you were telling the police.
I think it's they don't want. I've got a list of things I can't go near, which is in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to go there, and I've really showed them I wouldn't want to go there. They couldn't be touched anywhere because they're too high. You can't touch some high people in this country. Even you try to do a report on it and try to do that, I tell you it'll be stopped before it even gets published by people above you. Because they'll be told, your solicitors and lawyers will tell that can't publish, that can't publish.
But one of the people that you were told, one of the people you told to the police was Leon Britton, that's the name of the case.
Yeah.
He'd been abusing your parties in London. And there were other senior MPs as well.
There's an MP called, there's a Civil Phil Smith, yeah. Raymond runs a few pubs for him, but who I lived with and everything, and we've done a few pubs for him, like.
Yes, getting back, I want to get back to Leon Britton because I know from what the information Settle came to me for, there's one surefire way of identifying Leon Britton above anything else. Do you want to tell James what that is?
His birthmark.
His birthmark. And where was his birthmark?
On his I don't want to stand up because I've got a shot.
No, just
sort of on the thigh, just
on the thigh.
Actually, no, leave it. We'll go again in a minute when he's sat down and he's ready.
Alright? Now, listen to me. This man, he's not going to get you into trouble. I'm not going to get you into trouble.
There's things
because, hang on. Because some of this that we're getting on this visit may come out later on, when it's all over. So at least we've got it. I'll give you the Lucian one. Alright, bro?
Andy,
do what you got to do.
Andy,
leave him alone.
This is coming.
No, leave him alone. Leave him alone.
We're normal people.
Mick, leave him alone. Alright? You talk to this man, all you got to do, bruv, is tell the truth. Look at me, look in my eyes. You trust me, alright? You trust me?
I trust you. You wouldn't have votes. Okay.
Do what you got to do. I'll do what I've got to do. You do what you got to do.
You see?
Oh, they'll bang us up in the same fucking cell. Alright? We'll get on well together. Don't worry about it.
I run a leak detection company. We have engineers out on the road who have special technology for going out and finding leaks on things. And the other job that I have is, my background really is I'm a communications consultant. I've worked with the Queen at Buckingham Palace.
So why did he draw you into his web?
Well, Bill Maloney, from my campaigning days back then, I got introduced to Bill Maloney. And Bill's how can I describe? Marmite figure. You either love him or you hate him. I love him. I think he's great. I won't say anything bad about him. He has very unorthodox methods. He's very direct. He's really passionate. And do you know what? If you understand his life and what happened to him in care, and I'm not going to talk about that. Bill wants to talk about that. That's for Bill to talk about.
Hello. Today I'm here with our first citizen activist exposing police corruption. And no friend of Brian Harvey. His name is Ian Puddick.
Brian who?